Wisconsin. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for Open House with Hanson Real Estate Group.
It's time for the Open House on WHTL.
What are you, some kind of real estate agent?
You're joking, right? I don't joke about real estate.
With the Hanson Real Estate Group.
I never understood why people are so afraid to eat at an open house.
I know.
The Open House starts right now.
Every Wednesday here on WHTL, 11 o'clock, Open House with our friends from Hanson Real Estate Group. And got a twofer today. Yes, I do. Being joined by Jamie Back and Wiley Dunn, both from Hanson Real Estate Group. Good morning, Jamie.
Mark, how are you? Doing good?
I'm doing pretty good. Hi, Wiley. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Mark.
All right. Wiley Dunn, of course, a local boy from Whitehall, and you must be on your summer vacation now from college.
Yes, sir. Having fun.
Is it good to be back?
100%. I miss it every day.
For people who aren't familiar with Wiley, he's quite an athlete. Goes to Cumberland University in Kentucky. Wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. What weight class do you wrestle?
I wrestle 285, but I stay around that 220 range. Stay somewhat healthy, and I wrestle some big boys. I get hurt a little bit, but sometimes you rally back, go to the trainer. I'm great friends with all the trainers.
How'd your year go this year? How was it? Pretty good?
It was a pretty good, decent year. I was joined with Jackson Schromick over in Blair, so we're in the weight room. We're on the wrestling mat. We're putting in the hours. It didn't really pay off this year, but this summer we're both putting in the work.
Preparation is the key when it comes to almost anything. Jamie, whether it be sports or business, preparation is part of the key.
Well, and absolutely. To be a college athlete is a special person, takes a special person to do that. And I give Wiley a lot of credit. It's like I said, last year I put him on a 2-year program. He's got 1 year left. And then once he graduates, I think he'll be back around here selling real estate, doing appraisals, maybe a wrestling coach or whatever. But being that he's our newest licensed realtor here, that's why I got him in here today, Mark. So.
Well, I know it seems like about a year ago, Wiley was in the studio for the first time, and it was good to meet him. And Wiley, tell me a little bit about your journey in the real estate business. How did all that come about?
Yeah, I was working over at the Wamedy State Bank and met Herb Lalamont. And then from word of mouth, I grew up with my brother wrestling with Jake Lalamont and playing football with Jake. And, he became a realtor, and then it's like, that would be a pretty fun job, If they say, love your job, and then you're never going to have to work a day in your life, I love what I do. And right now it's sitting behind the table, crunching the numbers, looking at listings and just running my own little analysis on the property. And I find that to be really, really enjoying.
That's an art in itself, isn't it, Jamie? Being able to evaluate and appraise property.
Yeah, and that's one thing Wiley I think has an interest in is doing some appraisals and stuff like that. We've turned Wiley over a little bit, and I'm like, okay, what do you think this house is worth? So he's been able to go through, look at some of the comparables, and then it is also a very key part of being a realtor to be able to go through, look at the numbers, and kind of estimate what these properties are worth, and a huge part of being a successful realtor.
That makes a lot of sense. It's all part of the overall picture, understanding the market and what's hot, what's not, what's doable and what isn't. Oftentimes people tend to maybe overprice or underprice, don't they, Wiley? How do you guard against that?
I usually run a couple numbers. I got the high listing, the number we should list at, and then probably like the more reasonable buying price. So whatever I kind of come up with, I shoot over to the boss man, and whatever we list it, and whether I'm happy or not, that's what we do.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and another part here, Mark, is in this market, it's changing every day. I would have to say that we may have seen the peak of the prices, and there's some pullback in the market, so there's some change. We have to make those adjustments accordingly, and we have to understand the market when it's going up, when it's coming down, when it's plateauing, and that's something that I want to try to portray to Wiley here, is how the market is changing daily.
And that everything is cyclical. Sometimes, no matter what kind of business you're in, you're right. It changes, and you've got to be in tune with it because everything is cyclical. Whether it be the employment market, sometimes there's more jobs available than people. Sometimes there's more people available than jobs. In the real estate market, probably the same. Sometimes more houses available than buyers. Oftentimes more buyers than houses. So you've got to kind of stay in tune and be up to date with what's going on.
Absolutely, and that's part of being a full-time realtor. In it every day, and watching the changes and trends, because it can change in a month, 2 weeks. It's like, whoa, there's some adjustments, or the market's picking up, or certain properties, or people looking, moving. And again, now obviously we're at prime time for your new listings, and the school's kind of ending, and I would say it's prime time at this time.
Mm-hmm. Wiley, you've got some properties you want to talk about.
I do, yeah. I'm sorry, I'll get you about this one. We got a house right over there in Independence, Washington Road, 1,400 square foot, listed at $175.
Yeah, and that's a new listing, Mark. Just a great, could be a potential income-producing property. It could be a duplex, a great starter home,
Sure.
located just kind of right, if you're familiar, we're right behind the Independence State Bank in Independence.
That looks like a really nice property. What are some of the features that you like about that property, Wiley?
My favorite one right now is the garage. The doors open up on the sides, and it's really unique. We can talk about the garage all day long.
Last time it was cabinets, and now it's garages here. But,
I know. He's evolving on us here.
But it does have a real open concept where you can use it like a three-season room for grilling, outdoor activities, stuff like that. A great listing. We just picked that one up last week, Mark.
Wow, that looks like it's priced to sell, too. It really does. What, 175?
175 is the list price.
Now, is that an auction or a conventional?
Conventional
sale?
listing.
Okay. All right, check that out at the hregroup.com page. And what are some of the others here?
A couple other ones here. Obviously, we have the 160-acre farm that closes on Monday. That is June 2nd, 6 o'clock. That's that multi-par property. It sells in 3 different parcels. You can buy the buildings in 40 acres of just vacant land, or a kind of a recreational combination property there with the 80 acres, or you can buy the entire 160. So if you have any questions, we've had a lot of interest on that property, but that does close Tuesday, June 2nd, 6 o'clock. So if you have any questions, you can get a hold of us. The third property we have here is the new listing we have in Lewis Valley. Just a gorgeous 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with approximately 5 acres, nice outbuildings, beautiful garage. When I say there's a list of improvements or things that have been done with that, it goes on, and it entails about 4 pages of, newer siding, newer windows, updates, things like that. We just reduced that property to $545,545. So, located right between Independence and Arcadia, a beautiful country setting property.
That view off that deck has got to be just incredible, too. I mean, it has to be.
Absolutely. I mean,
that deck goes all the way across the front of the house.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous property. So if you want to take a look at any one of those, you can go to our website at Hanson Auction Group or HansonRealEstateGroup.com.
All right. Wiley, if people want to reach you, what's the best way to do it?
Call me on my phone. You can reach me at 608-864-1276.
My best is the cell phone number for me, Mark, is 715-797-0802.
How long are you going to be here? When do you head back to school?
Late August. I'll be here for Ashley for the Arts.
Oh, cool.
And then probably take the 12-hour trip right down back to college, you know.
Well, I'll be out there for Ashley for the Arts both days. Make sure you stop by and say hello.
I'll say hello there.
All right. Wiley Dunn, good to see you again.
Good to
Wiley
see you.
with the Hanson Real Estate Group. Home from college and taking a little break from his wrestling. Good to see you, Wiley.
Thank you, Mark.
Jamie, thanks for coming in. We'll do it again next week. Who's in next week?
I believe Jake will be in next week. So.
Jake?
Yep.
All right. We'll have Jake in next week. Open house every Wednesday here on WHTL today with Wiley Dunn and Jamie Back. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you.